So then, there are the drivers, and here is the grid on RGMMC TV. It's the DD2 final here at the 2015 Rotax Max Winter Cup. I'm Chris Hartley, and I'm going to talk you through all of the action. The grid based on the results of the pre-final as they head off onto 2 formation laps. Let me give it to you. On pole position, number 613, Frank Canchar. He looked pretty unstoppable in that pre-final. Had a great start. And he leads them away now. Alongside him from 14th on the grid in the pre-final to finish in 2nd place was Enrico Baptista. So number 639, Enrico Baptista starting in 2nd place. Frank Canchar, the pole sitter, driving for the Birrell Art KMS team. Enrico Baptista alongside him, the Portuguese driver on the front row here with Dan Holland Racing. Then 3rd on the grid, number 616, Luca Kamali from Germany for CRG Spa. 4th on the grid, Manu Bejarano in kart number 630. The Binacart team. On row number 3 then, Oriol Dalmo, number 634, is on the inside. He is with Energy Spain, and Paolo De Conto is starting 6th on the grid. Paolo De Conto 6th on the grid in kart number 628. And Paolo, a double KZ champion. Then on the 4th row, we've got Mark Lupfer, number 622, and Edsasia Zuban, number 635. To complete the top 10, 636, Ivan Martinez Garcia and Cristobal Garcia Ramos, the leading Masters qualifier. 2 more from Masters on row 6, Kawazi Tamakazu from Japan and Marc Bateau from France. On row 7, we've got Gida Fodor, the Hungarian, we heard from briefly on the grid, and Igor Mukin. All the Masters together, because 2 more Masters right behind them, Christoph Adams and Maxim Shaposhnikov. They're all grouped up together then. On row 9, we have 2 non-Masters drivers, Seyman Ryazanov and Philippe Siwa. On row 10, Kevin Ludi and Marius Rauer. Kevin was on the front row of the grid for the pre-final and had a problem with the kart, so he is right down the order as well. Let's watch out for him. On row 11, Cristiano Magado, who's been the quickest master here this weekend. He could still win it. Tobias Holm is alongside 22nd on the grid. Row 12, Marcel Schirmer and Zenderua. Watch for Zen coming through, and possibly Marcel as well, has been quick this weekend. Row 13, Max Sofer and Harold Garkaklis. And the final row, starting in 27th place, is Konstantin Scholl. So 27 drivers starting the DD2 final. And they're now just starting to slow down and bunch up and huddle together because they are on their 2nd formation lap. Get your messages coming in on the live stream. Do our best to give you a shout. Yannick Brandt says, good luck to Kevin Ludi and Philip Sear in this race. You can rock it. Never stop fighting, boys. Well, we know that Kevin Ludi is a quick driver. We know he's been super quick here this weekend. And if he gets a good start, you never know. 19th on the grid. It's quite a long race. There's still time for Kevin to do something here. Let's see how he goes. So, building up then, that's the view at the best overtaking spot really on the course. Turn number 12 at the bottom of the hill and that hairpin. Then they go into the left-hander at 13, and this right-hander at turn 14 is the final turn on the lap. After this, we'll have the junior final and the senior final to round out the day here at Campios in southern Spain. Slightly winter-like weather, but very hot racing to come. Away we go for Frank Canchar. The great start. Luca Kamali slots straight into 2nd place. Enrico Baptista has dropped down to 3rd position by the looks of things. And then Manu Bejarano from Spain is in 4th. I think it's Oriol Dalmo in 5th place by the looks of things. So decent starts for everybody up and near the front. I think Paolo De Conto has possibly lost a place or 2. But otherwise, everybody that was on the first 5 or 6 in the grid has held position or gained a place. Here they come then, out of turn 9 for the first time. The race leader, the pole sitter, Canchar, looking back over his shoulder. Doesn't have quite the advantage that he had in the pre-final. He was already a couple of seconds up the road by now. Further back, Zenderua, I can see working his way through. He's ahead of Cristiano Magado, who's already got 7 or 8 karts behind him as Zenderua. So from 24th on the grid, Zenny's going to be up into about 16th or 17th position already, I would reckon. And that's exactly what he needed, a flying start. Max Hofer, let's see if he can build up some places early on as well from the back of the field. But at the end of lap number 1, through they come with Frank Canchar from Hungary leading the way. Almost exactly half a second clear of Luca Kamali. Enrico Baptista there in 3rd place. 4th is Oriol Dalmo. He's got ahead at the end of that lap of Manu Bejarano. And then we've got another Spanish driver in the top 6 because Ivan Martinez Garcia has come up into 6th place. So For the home drivers, it's 4th, 5th and 6th. They're going well. Paolo De Conto 7th, Mark Lupfer in 8th. Mark Bateau leads the Masters category. He's 9th, just ahead of Kawazi Tamakazu, who is in 10th place. Kevin Ludi's gained 4 places at the start of that race. He's up into the top 15. Zendarua went from 24th to 18th, so he gained quite a few places as well. Luca Kamali looks like he's hanging on to the race leader to me, just as quick as the Hungarian on this lap, and both of them pulling away from Enrique Baptista. They're the two Spanish drivers trying to reel in the man who, at the moment, sits on the final podium spot. Baptista from Portugal being chased by the two Spaniards as they come out through turn 14 onto the start-finish straight once again. Ivan Martinez Garcia looking quick as well inside that top 6. Still got a long way to go. 13 laps in this race remain. Our race leader is 0.497 seconds clear. He was caught on that lap, but Luca Kamali only caught him up by 0.02 of a second. So almost identical lap times between the top two. Batista did a 64.4. The two behind him were about a 10th quicker. Paolo De Conto is the quickest man in the top 6 though. He is flying. 64.1 seconds for him. He's a couple of tenths quicker than those ahead. So in 6th place with the black race suit and the orange coloured helmet, the Italian starting to come now after the two Spanish drivers just ahead of him. Just behind is Mark Lupfer going well as well, the German. He's only about 1 or 2 kart lengths behind them. Paolo De Conto in 6th place looks menacing, and there's a change just ahead of him because into turn 12, Manu Barano goes through and gets ahead of Ariel Dalmo. Paolo De Conto follows him and gains a place as well. So Paolo De Conto now finds himself up into 5th place. Through goes the leader. It gets even quicker on this lap, a 63.8. He's pulled away this time from Luca Kamali, who does a 64.1. And Enrique Baptista's in the 64 ones as well. And then we've got this train of karts with Paolo De Conto now at the front of that next train and into 4th place. Ahead of Manu Barano and Oriol Dalmo, with Martinez Garcia at the back of that quartet. Down into the left-hander at turn 9 comes our race leader. Enrique Baptista looks very late on the brakes and very quick down through that section. Into the 2nd sector we are. And when they come out of turn 11, that's into the 3rd and final sector of the lap. Ivan Martinez Garcia has been quicker than anybody so far in the middle sector of the lap, so he's got good pace in the middle of the lap. But Paolo De Conto, I think, is about to get the fastest lap of the race. He's got his head down and he's starting to pull away from the people he's just overtaken now. And Paolo De Conto wants a podium finish here at the very least. Kevin Ludi's made a bit more progress. He's up into 12th place now, the Swiss driver. We've got Mark Bateau in the lead of the DD2 Masters, but he's not far ahead of Cristobal Garcia Ramos. So they're having a good little battle in the Masters category. Cristiano Magardo's trying to catch them all up. Magardo starting to make a bit more progress now. Zendarua's up into 15th place. So Zen can pretty shortly be into the top 10. Could get there quite quickly, looking at his pace, which is very quick. Paolo De Conto isn't the fastest man on the track, but he set the fastest first sector last time around. The race leader is the fastest driver out there, Frank Canchar. Luca Kamali is almost a second behind him now, so the gap has doubled in the last 2 or 3 laps. Enrique Baptista 3rd, Paolo De Conto 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th altogether, the 3 Spanish drivers. And Oriol Dalmo fires one down the inside to get to the position at turn 12. Gets back ahead of Bejarano. Watched closely, the pair of them, by Martinez Garcia. Mark Lupfer is still 8th. Mark Bateau, the leading master, is still 9th, just ahead of Cristobal Garcia Ramos, who is 2nd in the Masters. Kevin Ludi 11th now. Igor Mukin 3rd in the Masters, runs in 12th place. Cristiano Magardo is still back in 19th position, so he's only 2 places ahead of where he was. Probably the part of the problem for Cristiano is that he had these quick drivers coming through from just behind as well. Max so far hasn't made the desired progress. He's still quite a long way down the order, but at the head of the field, Paolo De Conto is now the fastest man on the track. 63.670 seconds is the new fastest lap of the race for the man in 4th, and he is visibly flying after Enrique Baptista. Martinez Garcia is up to 6th place now. He's got ahead of Bejarano as well. Bejarano struggling at this juncture, down in 7th place. So the 3 Spaniards still 5th, 6th and 7th, but in a new order. Leading Spanish driver Oriol Dalmo up to 5th place. desperately seeking a podium finish. 9 laps to go, third and fourth are tied together. Paolo Di Conto ready to pounce at any minute here on Enrico Battista, the Italian, onto the rear bumper of the Portuguese, and the man from Madeira Island, who was doing all of the attacking in the pre-final from 14th up to 2nd, now finds himself in the position of having to defend for once, and it's going to be hard work to keep Paolo Di Conto behind for 9 laps. Paolo wants to get through to 3rd place because he's got an eye on the 2 ahead. He's not just going to be satisfied with 3rd. I don't think Paolo is after a win here, but the longer he sits behind Enrico Battista, the less his chance will be. Down towards turn 10 they go, and he goes through this time. Follow me, he says, points forward. Enrique, stick with me and let's catch the 2 ahead. So up to 3rd now for Paolo Di Conto. Almost inevitable that. So much speed advantage does he have at the moment. He is flying. Thought he might be a bit of a dark horse in this race. Not that you'd ever say he's a dark horse, really, because of all the success that he's had. But a dark horse in the fact that he sort of went unnoticed in the pre-final. And it was only right at the end that he got up to 6th place. His pace certainly has been better than that this weekend. Further back, Kevin Ludi continues to make good progress. He's in 9th place now. Mark Lupfer is his next target, a couple of seconds up the road. Now Paolo Di Conto is almost onto the tail, and with his German teammate there, Luca Kamali, and feels like this is going to change around any time soon. Kamali on the brakes down into turn 9, accelerating onto the straight, glancing over his shoulder. Kamali still 2nd. Di Conto almost with him now, and they're both edged clear of Enrique Battista. Di Conto still has the fastest lap of the race. A slightly more orange helmet is Luca Kamali, the one ahead. Almost identical liveries between the 2 of them. Under braking into turn 12, Paolo Di Conto closes up once more, and less than a cart length behind now, almost onto the bumper by the time they get through the penultimate corner, through turn 14 and on to start a new lap. Paolo Di Conto, is he going to be close enough to launch an attack at turn 1? No, not quite. He thought about it, but he wasn't there. He really is in a position to attack now, though. But Luca Kamali is going to fight hard. He looks up the inside here. Luca's got the inside line for the next corner, but Paolo's through. Paolo Di Conto, with a last-minute move on the brakes there, gets 2nd place. Haven't seen too many moves up at turn 4. That was a good run from Paolo Di Conto, and he squeezed through. Now he's coming up to try and catch Ferenc Kanchar. These two had a bit of a coming together in one of the heats yesterday, for which Paolo got penalised. So that could be an interesting story if we get there. A little bit further back, another change as even Martinez Garcia fires one up the inside into the hairpin, but then loses the place on the exit to the turn, and Oriol Dalmo will hold on to his 5th position for the time being. Now Cristiano Magado is starting to make some lively progress. He is now up into 16th place. So Marc Bateau leads the Masters in 10th. Igor Mukin, the Russian driver, is about 1.3 seconds behind him, and is the 2nd best master in 11th. Xander Rue is up to 12th. Marcel Schirmer's going well also. He's up to 13th. From the back, Konstantin Scholz up to 14th. Exasia Zuban is 15th. Then it's Cristiano Magado in 16th place. Cristiano then is in a podium position here. He's into 3rd place in the Masters category, because the Japanese driver, Tomokazu, has dropped down the order somewhere. So has Geza Fodor. So how long have we got left? 6 laps to go, including this one. The race leader, French Kanchar, lapped with a 64.1 last time. Paolo Di Conto did a 64.5. So the gap grew, but don't forget that Paolo was overtaking at the start of that lap. So it's on this lap that we'll get a real sense of whether there's any chance the Italian could close down upon the Hungarian. Hungarian driver leads, an Italian driver is 2nd, a German driver is 3rd, because Luca Kamali is still on for a podium here. Then we've got Enrico Battista, the Portuguese driver, 4th, ahead of the 3 Spaniards. 5 laps to go. Right, lap time for the leader, 64.192. Lap time for the man in 2nd, 64.0. So by about 1.5 tenths of a second, Paolo Di Conto was quicker. He is catching the race leader. Not by an enormous amount, but he is catching him, and he won't give up. What he certainly is doing is making 2nd place secure now, because he's a long way clear of 3rd, 4th, 5th. That gap, though, from 3rd to 5th is becoming less and less. Luca Kamali will have a real fight here to hang on to the final podium position. He calmly adjusts his carburettor. Behind him, Enrico Battista, almost losing a position there to Oriol Dalmo. They go through the right-hander at turn 11. Marc Berthaud continues to lead the Masters. He's in 10th place, but not by an enormous amount as they go down the back straight. He's only about 0.7 of a second clear of Igor Mukin, so that gap's coming down as well. Zenderu right behind them in 12th. Sherma still 13th. Konstantin Scholl 14th. Few places back in the Masters still is Magado. Now Enrico Battista has to hug the inside line on the way into turn 1. It makes him run out wide on the exit, and he'll lose 4th place here to Oriol Dalmo, the Spanish driver, through to 4th place now. French Canchard leads. He leads by a slightly reduced margin. Again, Paolo de Conte was 1.5 tenths of a second quicker. So the gap's come down from 2.5 seconds to 2.1 seconds. Still relatively comfortable for our race leader though. Luca Kamali has a little bit more room for error now with that fight that's gone on behind. So 1st, 2nd and 3rd on this lap should be fairly secure. 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th all tied together. And coming back onto that group is Manu Bejarano, who was quick at the end of the pre-final as well. Enrico Baptista's trying to launch one down the inside of Dalmo to get the place back. He does that on the way to turn 12, through turn 13 though. He loses it once again. They're side by side as they come out onto the start-finish straight. Enrico Baptista desperately trying to get back into 4th place. Oriol Dalmo going with him. It's going to be tight up at turn 1, but it will be Oriol Dalmo that hangs on to the place. Enrico Baptista had a big go there through the end of the lap, but ultimately he remained in 5th place. What has changed though is just behind, because Bejarano is ahead of Garcia now and up into 6th place. Our race leader on that lap was only caught by 0.5 tenth of a second, so Frank Canchard losing ground, but not by a huge amount, so looking fairly comfortable. 64.4s for the two leaders, a 64.6 for Luca Kamali. And if the group of 4 behind would stop fighting each other, they'd all have a chance of catching the German and having to go for a podium. The front nose cone of Igor Mukin is raised up vertically in the air. He's just about to go into turn 11, and he's going to lose places here, and I think he's going to be probably black flagged for this if he doesn't pull off on his own. So going down towards turn 12, you'll see Igor Mukin with his nose cone raised. It's the 3rd one in shot. There he is, and the nose cone sticking right up in the air. Look, so Igor Mukin, from 2nd in the Masters class, looks like he might be on the way into retirement. Kevin Leedy's got ahead of Mark Lupfer on that lap and into 8th place. Marc Berthaud has dropped back as well, so it makes me think maybe there was something that happened between Berthaud and Mukin while I was looking at the lead battle, and this still might put Cristiano Magado in with a chance of victory. He's back up to 2nd place in his category now, and continues to try and make moves up through the top part of the first sector of the lap. We have got 2 laps to go, that's all, including this one, so more or less 1.5 laps to go for Frank Canchard, who's still 2.1 seconds clear of De Conto, and then Kamali. Berthaud is still leading the Masters. He's going down into turn 10. In between him and Cristiano Magado, I think we've got Konstantin Scholl. So Cristiano Magado is still a couple of seconds behind Marc Berthaud. Guillaume Berthaud was the winner of the Masters class here last year. On to the last lap of the race has already gone though. Overall race leader, Frank Canchard, still 2.1 seconds clear. De Conto is matching the Hungarian, but he can't close the gap. However, who's going to join them on the podium? Because Luca Kamali is being reeled in by Oriol Dalmo. Enrico Baptista's not far behind either. And there's a queue of 4 drivers all trying to get that podium position away from Luca Kamali. So the battle to watch here, and the final lap is for 3rd place. Luca Kamali on the brakes, then down into the left-hander at turn 9, down towards turn 10. Where he's really going to have to be careful is down that back straight into turn 12. That's the best chance that Oriol Dalmo will have. Can he get on the podium for Spain here at Campos? He's about 1.5 kart lengths back as they come onto the straight down towards turn 12. He's not close enough, I don't think, to attack. So Kamali will hang on to the place at least into turn 13. Coming out of the final turn, though, to take the checkered flag is going to be Frank Canchard. He takes the checkered flag and wins the Winter Cup here in DD2. Well done, French. Paolo de Conto 2nd. Oriol Dalmo crosses the line in 3rd place. Luca Kamali let it slip coming out of the final 2 bends. Oh, what heartbreak for the German driver. Almost there on the podium. But Oriol Dalmo, by a tenth of a second, gets a podium finish for Spain. I thought his best chance had gone when they went down into turn 12. He was still behind going into turn 13, but going into the last corner, he somehow found a way through. And Oriol Dalmo, at the death, gets third place, second to Paolo Di Conto, and a race winner in DD2, French Canchar. Paolo Di Conto setting the fastest lap with a 63.670. So there is confirmation of the provisional results. Frank Canchar, the winner of the Winter Cup in DD2 from Paolo Di Conto. Oriol Dalmo third, Luca Kamali fourth, Enrico Battista fifth, Ivan Martinez Garcia sixth, Manuel Barano seventh, Kevin Ludi with a good drive to eighth, Mark Lupfer ninth, an excellent drive from Xenderua from near the back up to 10th. Marcel Schirmer made good progress as well in 11th, and in 12th place, our winner in Masters. Well done to Marc Bateau. Marc Bateau, the winner of the Masters class. And then we had Zuban 13th, we had Magado, second best master, in 14th place. Konstantin Scholl with a good drive from the back of the grid to 15th. Garkaklis came from the back of the grid as well. And Geza Fodor managed to pick up third place in the Masters class towards the end of the race after the demise of poor old Igor Mukin. So fantastic race in DD2. Our winner, Frank Canchar.